Your AV receiver is connected, but it's probably set up wrong. So why does your expensive home theater still sound weak, flat, or disappointing? Today I'll show you the biggest AVR setup mistakes and how to unlock the cinematic sound you paid for. Like the video and subscribe for honest soundbar reviews that help you buy smarter. Comment. Make sure to tell me what the next video should be about, and check the description for best prices and product links. The foundation: understanding your receiver. Before we plug in a single cable, let's take a minute to understand the most important component in your entire home theater. Have you ever wondered why two home theaters with similar speakers can sound completely different? The answer often comes down to the AV receiver. Think of it as the brain, heart, and command center of your setup. Every device you own, from your PlayStation and Xbox to your streaming box and Blu-ray player, connects here first. The receiver processes everything, sends video to your TV, and makes sure every speaker gets exactly the right audio signal at exactly the right time. What surprises most beginners is that an AV receiver does far more than simply power speakers. It's constantly decoding surround sound formats, managing video signals, switching between sources, and controlling your entire entertainment system. That's why a small setup mistake here can create problems throughout the entire system. Inside the box, you'll usually find the receiver, power cable, remote control, and a small calibration microphone. And trust me, that microphone might look unimportant. But later you'll see why it's one of the most valuable tools included with your receiver. The biggest mistake people make at this stage is rushing straight into the connections. Instead, place your receiver in its final location first. Make sure there's enough space around the top and sides, because AV receivers generate a surprising amount of heat during operation. Get this step right now, because in the next section, we're connecting the part that directly affects every sound you hear from your home theater. Speaker connections, the soul of your sound. Want to know why some home theaters sound weak, even when they use expensive speakers? In many cases, the problem starts with speaker wiring. Your speakers are the voice of your system, and even one wiring mistake can destroy bass performance, ruin imaging, and make surround sound feel disconnected. Take a close look at your speaker wire. Although it looks like one cable, it's actually made up of two separate conductors. One side connects to the positive terminal, while the other connects to the negative terminal. This is called polarity, and maintaining correct polarity throughout the system is absolutely critical. If even one speaker is connected backwards, it becomes out of phase with the others. Instead of working together, the speakers begin fighting each other, causing bass cancellation and a weak hollow sound. So how do you identify the correct wire? Most manufacturers include some kind of marker. One side may have a stripe, printed text, different color, or a raised ridge. The actual marker doesn't matter. What matters is consistency. Choose one side as positive and use it exactly the same way for every speaker connection in your system. Next comes the connection itself. If you're using bare wire, strip about ½ inch of insulation from the end of each cable. Be careful not to expose too much copper, because loose strands can touch neighboring terminals and create a short circuit. Twist the strands tightly, insert them into the binding post opening, and secure the connector firmly. For a cleaner and more professional setup, I strongly recommend banana plugs. These simple connectors make installation easier, create more reliable connections, and eliminate the risk of loose copper strands. They're inexpensive, easy to install, and one of the best upgrades for any home theater owner. Now repeat the process for every speaker in your setup. Front left, front right, center channel, surrounds, and any height speakers. Match every speaker to its corresponding terminal on the receiver. Before moving on, double-check every connection, because the next step is where most beginners experience their first major setup problem. HDMI and source connections, the digital heartbeat. Have you ever finished setting up a system only to be greeted by a giant no signal message? If so, you're definitely not alone. HDMI connections are the single biggest source of confusion for new home theater owners, but once you understand how they work, the entire process becomes simple. Let's start with the basics. Your receiver has two types of HDMI ports: inputs and outputs. HDMI inputs receive signals from source devices such as gaming consoles, streaming boxes, Blu-ray players, and media devices. Every source device sends its audio and video into the receiver through these ports. HDMI outputs do the exact opposite. Their job is to send the final processed video signal from the receiver to your television. Most receivers include one main HDMI output labeled HDMI out, monitor out, or ARC, eARC. This is arguably the most important HDMI connection in your entire setup. Now let's talk about ARC and eARC, because this is where many users get stuck. Imagine you're watching Netflix directly through your TV's built-in app. How does the audio travel back to your receiver? That's exactly why ARC exists. ARC, or Audio Return Channel, allows your TV to send audio back to the receiver using the same HDMI cable already connected between them. The newer version, eARC, supports higher bandwidth audio formats, including lossless Dolby Atmos. If your TV and receiver both support eARC, it's definitely worth using. However, standard ARC can still provide excellent surround sound performance for most streaming content. For ARC or eARC to function correctly, 3 things must happen. First, you must use the correct HDMI ports on both devices. Second, ARC and HDMI control settings must be enabled in both the TV and receiver menus. Third, you need a quality HDMI cable capable of supporting the required bandwidth. Once your ARC connection is complete, connect all your source devices to the receiver. Plug your gaming console into the game input, your Blu-ray player into BD, DVD, and your streaming devices into any available HDMI input. Every source connects to the receiver first, while the receiver becomes the single connection point to the TV. And now, it's time to connect the component responsible for delivering the cinematic impact most people care about. The subwoofer, the foundation of rumble. Have you ever watched an action movie and felt like the explosions had no impact? That's usually a subwoofer problem. The subwoofer is responsible for reproducing the deepest frequencies in your home theater, and without it, even expensive systems can sound flat and lifeless. Unlike your main speakers, the subwoofer has its own built-in amplifier. That means it doesn't connect to speaker terminals. Instead, it connects to a dedicated subwoofer output on the receiver. Look for a connection labeled subwoofer out or LFE out on the back of your AVR. Using a subwoofer cable, connect the receiver's subwoofer output to the LFE input on the subwoofer. If your subwoofer has left and right inputs instead, use the input labeled LFE or LFE. The receiver will automatically handle bass management and route low frequencies where they belong. Many people underestimate how important proper subwoofer integration really is. A correctly configured subwoofer doesn't just add more bass. It creates cleaner bass, smoother transitions, and a more immersive listening experience overall. With the subwoofer connected, your physical installation is finally complete. Now comes the moment of truth that determines whether everything was connected correctly. The first power-up and on-screen setup. This is where everything comes together. Have all those connections been made correctly? There's only one way to find out. Turn on your TV, select the proper HDMI input, and power on your AV receiver. If everything has been connected properly, you'll see the receiver's setup wizard appear on screen. Modern receivers have made this process incredibly user-friendly. Manufacturers like Denon, Yamaha, Marantz, and Onkyo guide you through each stage with simple instructions. Pay close attention during the speaker verification process. The receiver will send test tones to each speaker and ask you to confirm their locations. This is often the first chance to catch wiring mistakes. If a front speaker suddenly plays from the rear of the room, you'll know exactly where the issue is. The setup wizard will also help configure your speaker layout, assign inputs, and connect the receiver to your home network. Don't skip the internet connection. Firmware updates frequently improve compatibility, fix bugs, and add new features. Once the setup wizard finishes, your home theater will be fully functional. But if you want the kind of sound quality that separates average systems from exceptional ones, the next step is absolutely critical. Calibration. The pro-level secret. Remember that small microphone included in the box? This is where it becomes the hero of the entire setup process. In fact, this single step often improves sound quality more than a hardware upgrade. Every room affects sound differently. Walls, floors, furniture, room dimensions, and seating positions all change how audio reaches your ears. Even premium speakers can sound disappointing if the room isn't properly accounted for. That's exactly why room calibration systems exist. Technologies like Odyssey, YPAO, and Dirac Live measure your room and automatically optimize speaker levels, distances, timing, and frequency response. The goal is simple. Make every speaker work together perfectly at your listening position. Connect the microphone to the receiver's setup port and place it at ear level in your primary seating position. Avoid holding it by hand, because even small movements can affect measurement accuracy. A tripod works best, but a stable stack of books can also get the job done. During calibration, keep the room as quiet as possible. The receiver will play a series of tones through every speaker and collect measurements. Some systems require multiple microphone positions, and it's always worth completing every measurement location for maximum accuracy. When calibration finishes, you'll likely notice tighter bass, clearer dialogue, more accurate surround effects, and a much larger soundstage. But before you sit back and enjoy the results, there are 3 settings every home theater owner should verify manually. Manual verification. Fine-tuning for perfection. Did the calibration system get everything perfect? Not quite. Automatic calibration does most of the work, but a few manual adjustments can often take performance to the next level. The first setting to check is speaker size. Many calibration systems automatically set larger speakers to large. While that might sound correct, most home theater enthusiasts actually set all speakers to small. This allows the receiver to redirect deep bass frequencies to the subwoofer, which is specifically designed to handle them. The result is cleaner, tighter, and more controlled bass. The second setting is crossover frequency. This determines where bass transitions from your speakers to the subwoofer. For most systems, 80 Hz remains the gold standard. It creates a smooth blend between speakers and subwoofer while maintaining excellent bass management. Finally, verify your speaker distances. Calibration systems are usually accurate, but mistakes can happen. Compare the measured distances with the actual physical distances from your listening position. Proper timing is critical for creating a believable surround sound experience. These 3 settings may seem simple, but together they can dramatically improve system performance. And now, there's only one thing left to do. The final conclusion. In just a few minutes, you've addressed 2 of the most important settings inside any home theater system. First, you fixed the large speaker misconception by activating proper bass management, setting speakers to small, and allowing the subwoofer to handle the frequencies it was designed to reproduce. Second, you removed unnecessary processing that may have been flattening dynamics, exaggerating bass, and altering the original soundtrack. By disabling those features and reviewing your EQ settings, you've taken control of the listening experience instead of letting the receiver make every decision for you. The best part is that none of these improvements required spending money. No new speakers, no new amplifier, no expensive cables. Just smarter settings and a better understanding of how your system actually works. The result can feel like a major hardware upgrade. Dialogue becomes clearer. Bass becomes tighter. Sound effects become more precise. Movies become more immersive. And all of that performance was already hiding inside the equipment you own. Now it's your turn. Make these changes and tell me what happened. Which adjustment made the biggest difference in your system? Was it finally setting your speakers to small and unlocking proper bass management? Or was it disabling dynamic EQ and dynamic volume and hearing your system come alive? If this guide helped improve your home theater, hit the like button and share your experience in the comments. And if you want more practical AVR tips, Dolby Atmos setup guides, soundbar optimization tutorials, and home theater upgrades that actually make a difference, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the incredible sound your system was always capable of delivering.